What is going on, my Guardian gamers? It is I, Byrdman, back with another Destiny 2 build, and today I'm going to be showing off a Warlock build. Yes, not a Titan build, a Warlock build. This is one that I've been actually really enjoying. I've been hot and heavy over the whole Transcendence, just kind of generating a lot of energy, using my super, using my Transcendence, all that fun stuff that's come, especially with Prismatic. So I wanted to make a setup for that. Now, before we get into the video, you can follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Byrdman778. Give a thumbs up on this video. Let me know something you're interested in seeing down below. Subscribe, become a member. Check out the dim link down below in the description, and also look at my maxroll.gg page for all the awesome builds that are over there. Now, let's jump right on into it. Now, let's start off with the exotic armor piece, and that's going to be Apotheosis Veil. It reads insatiable, immediately regenerate health, melee, grenade, and rift energy for you and your nearby allies upon activating your super. After your super ends, temporarily gain greatly increased melee and grenade regen. I really like this because it really just kind of feeds into all of our abilities a whole hell of a lot, especially with the super we're going to be using for this setup. I think it's just really nice in general, just because, again, especially post using your super, you're able to kind of just use all of your abilities and kind of help regen your Transcendence bar a whole lot faster, so then you can just immediately jump into that, start using all that kind of stuff, so then you can refill into your super bar as well. Now, when it comes to the subclass, we're obviously using Prismatic, and for the super, we're going to use Song of Flame. Now, this is one of the new supers that were added in, and this obviously is the one for Warlock. It's going to give us that wonderful bird grenade that kind of flies around, finds targets, makes our snap, our incineration snap, have a bigger range as well, more projectiles. It's just really nice in general. Also, for the fact that it's going to give us some good radiant effects, so that we're able to take down barrier champions, get some more damage. It's just really nice. It just kind of turns you just amped up to 10,000, and then again, when you add an Apotheosis Veil, it's just going to help in continuously charge up those abilities, ensuring that we're just constantly using them, so that we're able to essentially just use our abilities as our super. For our abilities, I recommend obviously first up Phoenix Dive, so that we're able to get that solar cure around us. I just really enjoy this for the fact that it's got a nice short cooldown, and it's also just kind of instantly fast. We instantly get that health from us, and we're not having to stand in one spot to benefit from it. For our melee, I recommend Arcane Needle. Now, unfortunately, it does have a pretty gnarly cooldown, but we do get 3 stacks of it. But whenever this hits an enemy, it's going to unravel them. Now, this is great because it's going to be adding a darkness debuff to targets. Unravel is just really great because it's going to constantly kind of bounce around between targets. So that's always really nice. And again, especially whenever we're using a setup where we are focused on Transcendence, we're able to immediately get those 3 charges back, and just kind of constantly benefit from those unraveling projectiles. For a grenade, we're going to be using Storm Grenade. Now, Storm Grenade is actually one that I didn't think I was going to be going back to, but it has some stupid freaking damage right now. I really enjoy this with combination of one of our fragments, especially whenever we're again using light abilities against darkness debuff targets. For our aspects, Feed the Void is an absolute must in my opinion. Defeat a target with ability to activate Devour. Devour feasts upon your energy of your defeated foes. Final blows restore health and grant grenade energy and extend Devour, meaning that we're constantly gonna be able to chuck grenades and also keep our health up. I just love Devour. I cannot believe they actually added this onto Prismatic Warlock. It is really freaking dumb. Also, we're going to be using Helen. Now, the biggest reason why we're choosing this is for the fact that we have that easy activation of that little Helen that's going to be shooting solar projectiles at targets, so that we're able to obviously continuously keep up that light Transcendence energy and keep up being able to generate that bar a little faster. It's also going to scorch targets, and obviously if targets get scorched enough, they're going to ignite. That's obviously really solid against unstoppable champions whenever we're doing endgame content. When it comes to our fragments, we're going to be using Fastet Sacrifice first up. While you have Arc Solar Void buff, ability Final Blows grant Darkness Transcendence energy. Obviously, we're constantly having that with Radiant effects and Devour, so that is a really good one to have. Fastet Devotion, defeating targets afflicted by stasis or strand debuffs. Grants bonus light Transcendence energy. Targets will be constantly unraveling because of our threaded needle, also just chucking tangles around and stuff like that. We're also going to be taking advantage of hatchlings with our weapon, but I'll get to that here in a second. Facet of Courage, your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted by darkness debuffs. Obviously, Helion's going to be one of them, but the biggest thing is going to be that Storm Grenade, especially against like boss enemies and stuff like that. Chucking that at targets and just getting that stupid arc energy off it's insane. Faceted Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage, and while Transcendent, this effect is increased. This is an easy one. I think it should always be on every single class. My good homie Charlie99 yells at me to make sure I have this on all the time. This is one really important for just like damage reduction and keeping yourself alive. And then finally, Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy, and defeating targets with darkness energy grants grenade energy. Obviously, we are having a really solid flow between both of those, so this is a great way to just keep those abilities high and generating. Now, weapon-wise, I am using double special, and especially the Pale Heart weapons, the Call and the Axial Lucana. I really will say, though, the Call is probably the most important thing. First up, it's a strand weapon, so we're getting that easy strand darkness for our Transcendence bar. Mine uses Demolitionist, so obviously that's going to feed into my grenade a lot, making sure I have that all the time. And then obviously hatchlings, so that I'm able to get those hatchlings that will then continuously debuff targets as well. Also, a big important thing is Dealer's Choice. Final blows of the weapon grants small amount of super energy. Equipping multiple of these increases the effect. This is really important for the setup so that you're able to constantly keep up that Song of Flame. And then for our heavy weapon, I actually am using Microcosm. 1 inch is a good weapon as is, but it does really feed into this kind of idea of constantly keeping up our super energy and those like really powerful abilities. First up, Paracausal Beam fires a beam kinetic light, dealing massive bonus damage to shields. That's great as is, but it's actually the Paracausal imbuement that I'm really talking about here. Final blows with this weapon grants super energy, and this weapon gains bonus damage once your super expires. I absolutely recommend just using your Song of Flame and then immediately pulling this sucker out and just melting everybody, because 1, it's going to do more damage, and 2, it's going to just refill that Song of Flame for you. Now, when it comes to all of the mods you're going to be using for this setup, first up on our helmet, I recommend a Strand Siphon, mainly just because I'm using the Call so much, being able to take big advantage of that. But this is one that you probably could swap out for something like Ashes Assets if you want your super back faster, but I haven't really had that issue yet, so it hasn't felt necessary. But special ammo and heavy ammo finders are absolute must for this, just to keep up that ammo economy. On our gloves, I'm using triple firepower because we are chucking a whole lot of these storm grenades, so being able to take advantage of getting a lot of orbs from them is really nice. Chest piece wise, it's mainly just resistant mods that are needed for whatever it is. I always just go with just the basic 3 light subclasses just to have good coverage there. On our legs, I'm using a recuperation so that I'm able to get some health whenever I pick up an orb of power, and then double strand weapon surge, so I'm getting a nice 17% boost to my call damage, since it's going to be like pretty much my primary. And then finally, on our class item, Reaper, whenever I use that Phoenix Dive, I immediately get a weapon kill right afterwards. I'm going to get an orb of power. Bomber, so whenever I use that around targets, I'm going to get some grenade energy back. And then Powerful Attraction, so that I'm able to pull in all those orbs of power when I use my Phoenix Dive. When it comes to the artifact and everything you're going to be needing here, obviously grab this Overcharged Armory and Winning Hand for your Pale Heart weapon, since they have that good origin trait. Definitely recommend grabbing Threaded Blast, because you are going to be creating a whole lot of tangles, so this is a great way to get that just gigantic explosion out of it. Radiant Orbs is a must while you have Solar Prismatic subclass. Picking more power makes you radiant, obviously good just for damage, but also for the fact that it is a lightness buff, so it's going to give you a lot of help in your fragment area. And then finally, Shield Crush. Whenever you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, Overshield, your melee recharges faster, but it's the second part. While you have Radiant, your grenade recharges faster. Obviously, that's great. And then Transference, gain increased grenade and melee damage while Transcendent, and weapon final blows while Transcendent, refund that bar. Really big one, especially since this is a Transcendence more focused setup. Now, when it comes to how this is useful against endgame activities, especially champs, first up, Barrier. We are going to be Radiant pretty often, so I recommend just pulling out that Fusion Rifle and ripping up shields that way. When it comes to Unstoppables, obviously Ignitions is going to be big with our Helen, so obviously just make sure it gets enough Scorch stacks on that Unstoppable, and then it will ignite, but you can obviously just use your Call since it is Unstoppable Sidearm this season. And when it comes to Overload, that is going to be one where I'm going to say you might have to like match a weapon, maybe swap something off like this Axial Lucana or your, Microcosm if that's something you need to swap off. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoy it. Again, always let me know something you're interested in seeing down below so that I'm able to create some more setups for you and show it off. Again, the dim link will be down below, and this will be over on my Maxroll page here pretty soon. Also, again, just like the video, let me know something down below, really helps us out. Subscribe, become a member, and follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Byrdman778. Guys, thank you so much. Hope you have a great night, day, whatever it may be.